Hello and welcome to your Cities Skylines Sunday. Well, we return to our city, and so far we're doing quite well. We have made one of our downtowns with two nice tech buildings going on here. They're actually twin towers when you look at them. So, it's very nice. And at 10,000, when we hit 10,000 population, we are going to create a green park ring around everything we've made. So we're going to be there very soon. But in the meantime, we can build more. Now, I was looking at the map, and if you look at the old town, where is the least amount of development adjacent to the old town? Well, it's here. And it's here. So we have to pick one or the other, and I propose we pick here. Yeah, I like this idea. We're going to zone up this whole area and just bring it to life. Now, I actually had an idea regarding this area. You see, we are probably going to be building train lines out to here, and since we have 6 lines coming off from here, one's going to go out this way, one will go kind of this way, one will go kind of that way, but this line is kind of going back behind itself, so this line will go that way, like I said. So I think we have a pretty prime opportunity right here for putting down a station. In fact, let's put it at the end of this little intersection. So we're going to have this guy loop around, and I think it's completely fine in this context to keep it surface level. If this becomes a problem later on, we can either elevate or make a trench for either the railroad or for the road. That's the kind of problem solving in this game I actually really enjoy, doing stuff like that. So we want to keep going in this general direction. So what we're going to do is extend that . Now remember, we do have a circular train line in our future at some point, so I don't want to presume too much about what's going on, but I think putting a station here is at the very least a smart thing to do, and we can speed up the time. Now, as you can see, the demand is shifting once again. Actually, everything's rising. So what I'm thinking we do, I did want to turn this over here into a farming zone. So let's go ahead and we're going to make a district that covers this area. We'll start with this. We'll call this Clark's Farm Products. I don't know why we're making it like company names rather than like town sounding names, but who knows? Who knows why we do what we do? So let's do a little bit of zoning, and we'll be back soon. Alright, so we are getting a lot of development here, and we're very near 10,000. I just had this feeling of this awkward shape, and I feel like we can do something about that. You know what I mean? It just like feels awkward. So we're going to have a road just come off in this direction, curve around, and then become this jolly road up here. See? Makes sense, right? We'll put in a traffic light here. This feels like the kind of road that will eventually need to be bypassed by a some sort of what's it called, overpass or something, especially with the train. But we're going to throw in some traffic lights. I just like the realism of the traffic lights. I like working with the complexity and the slight inefficiency it gives me. I don't know, I'm weird like that. But we have a lot of growth going on here, so I say we slap down some residential high-rise, let that grow in our main downtown area. So over here we have Holly. We have a little bit of New Doylestown, though, left to develop, so I feel like we can just do that. We'll put in this and that. Actually, we'll make this all commercial. Why not? The demand is there. So I kind of like filling things out along the lines that have been established for us by the town boundaries. So we'll just fill this out. And you can see the demand for development is pretty high. In fact, let's put some random high-rise right here. It's a fun thing to do. And this looks like a wedge. It desires to be a wedge of low-density commercial. And would you know it, ladies and gentlemen, we have one myriad of people. In other words, 10,000. So, we are going to be building a park ring. Very cool. So, how will this work, you might ask? Well, what we're going to do is we are going to start by demarcating an area with the park area. Now, we have to decide how big we want to be. I mean, it could be that big. I don't know. That seems a little bit overly large. So, what if we erase that? Of course, that looks overly small. So what I propose we do, we'll do like half of that. So if you look at where the boundary is over here, we can go and make a fence. And we'll make a fence right here. So I'm thinking something like this. Now keep in mind, it does not have to be uniform all the way across. So the idea here is we delineate an area here where no development can occur, just roads passing through, and the only thing that can be in this area is park type stuff. So we're going to do that right now. So we have a nice little ring here, and in this ring any kind of development will be forbidden with the exception of park development. So it would be a little bit much to make everything park right now, but what we can do is we can do some things. Now, we need a grand entrance somewhere, and what better place than here? This place was suffering from lack of interest. The people here were a little bit grouchy about this place. So, yeah, stuff like this. There will definitely be roads through the park. But I say we can do a little bit of work in this area. Now, first thing I want to do is, why don't we play around with the terrain a little bit. It doesn't have to be flat here. We can create little mounds, and people can enjoy a more sloping path. So I'll show you what I mean. We're going to take the path. Let's see here. Take the park path that we have. We're going to create kind of like a little triangle right here. And this we're going to have go up here. And we're going to make it do that. Do you see that? This is how we can keep the park path continuous without having people having to cross the street. Now, of course, I do believe we should still give them the option for getting down there. Let's see. Yeah, we'll do that. There we go. See, people can still access this area. And I want this to be whimsical and fun. Now, I don't mind them crossing the path everywhere or anywhere. And also, I don't even mind them taking out the fence like this. And we don't need gates everywhere either. But just enough to be like, yeah, this is our park area. This is fun. Whoever comes here is going to have nice, exquisite views. They're going to enjoy themselves. They're going to do well. Alright, I think this is a good amount to have ourselves to play around with. You see we have a few that lead out to the other side here. We can even add one more here. And these are future connections for future development. Now, what I'm thinking is as we go, we can go ahead and zone ourselves some more zones, but we are going to work on doing things. Like we can put a plaza here. We can put a little cafe over there. And you see that info booth. It's like, what the heck is going on here? Yep, go here and get that. And we can just put a few of these whimsical things over here, and there is no reason that everything has to be packed out like that. But we can keep things sparse here, and we can come back and decorate it later even. Because there really isn't like that much in the urban kit for the urban park. And I can tell you that just a little bit of stuff is going to turn into quite a bit. And also one thing I wanted to do is have the option of like doing that, for instance. Like putting regular parks within the park zone, even if they spill outside of it. Because that is how we can tie everything up. We can do that, for instance. And where's the other one? It's down here. We can go like that. And people can have a good time. And you see, that's all we really need to do. There is nothing else to it. Except maybe just a few little decorations here and there. Like, why not just add some plants? You see the ground is getting darker because it's registering that there's trees. Ooh. We can have like little groves over here. You can have palms, and you see people are already filing in. So my idea is we make our way along this corridor, and as we develop, we can add to it. Now I want to keep it kind of conservative, the number of roads that cross. So how about we do the crossing roads now? Actually, I say that, and there's plenty of places where I might still build crossing roads in the future. But let's jump ahead and do some things here, like the district of Holly by the lake. I can just imagine whatever developer comes down here is going to sell subdivisions by the lake, and let's just have nice little straight lines. So do you see the delight and whimsy such a thing can provide? Now the town of Holly is defined by this park going through it. And you can imagine the brochure for this area. It's like you got the park on one side and you got the lake on the other. How perfect is that? I say we go ahead and we fill this in. See how neat and simple that was, making all that? Yes, we just have a chill park district now. And I made sure that it had connections to the rail line because a lot of tourists will come and use the parks. So that's important to have. Yeah, I'm very happy about how that is. And I talked about the game whispering, right? Well, I've had a few whispers in the last little bit. First of all, wouldn't it be nice if we had some sort of path up here that was to cross the railroad track? See, like that. Let's see. Whoops. And we're going to use the... they'll just have to... if they want to keep using the park, they have to come across here. But that's not a big deal for these guys. So the other thing that I was thinking... And you'll have to let me use my my brain hole here. I was thinking about how this area could develop, especially in regards to this rail station. You see there's the one that goes down here. But remember, this is the one that is destined to go... Hold on. It's the one that's destined to go back, right? So there's going to be one that goes around the lake that way. So I think what's going to happen is it's going to come out and have a station somewhere in this area. And there is something I sometimes will do when playing the game. Let's go ahead and show that off. I like to click on the higher elevation, level this out, and that way we can have a train station at a higher elevation. Oops. Yeah, I want there to be room for all four. There we go. You'll see what I'm hoping to do here in a second. But we're going to take you, put you here. Are you starting to understand? Yeah, sometimes the game gets a little bit silly about wanting to build bridges, but that's just not high enough. So when that happens, you have to go back, click on things. It's not really a big deal. We can easily use the slope feature to fix this. So this might be high enough. Although now this side is actually a little bit not high enough. There we go. See? And now what we're going to do, throw that down over here. And one thing to be wary of, if you see this, that means it's going to end up with like an overhang where it's not rendered underneath, and nobody wants that. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you're always rendered underneath. So we do that just to make the bridge building more possible. And then we fear that we might have made this too low. So in that case, what you do, come over here. We're going to make sure that this is, yeah. I like how you can just move things in this game. That was a big, they were trying to make a big selling point of that when they first released the game back in the day. And I have to admit, it's pretty cool. But there we go. And honestly, I think we could go for a little bit lower over here. I think that would work and look more natural. See that? This is what I'm talking about. And one thing we can also do, we can just sort of keep this going. Yeah, I feel like bridging over this gap for whatever reason. And once again, we have to lower the terrain to make it function properly. But we can do that. And then we don't even have to use the fancy slope thing. We can just level it out with that. We bring it down. And we fix the curve. You see that? That is how it's done. So now that we've done all that, I think, well, let's see. We'll allow this to come down here. We'll make a road that goes under. We'll curve this to here. And there. Then this will go off and have its own adventures around the other side of the lake. Like that. Or something. We might change it. But yeah, we have a road going off here. And what I would like to do is we are going to bring this out. This will just be a little elevated section of rail. And now we lower the areas in the middle. If you ever delete these roads, you'll find like little, sort of little valleys in there. Oops, wrong one. But as long as you keep it there, you will not see any valleys. All right. And here, what I want to do. We're going to have this gently slope down, go in the middle, and then eventually it's going to work its way around the pond. But that's enough for now. So now that we've done that, we can make this stand out a lot less. Like right now, it's very chunky. So if we just go here and smooth out the elevation. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. We have some sharp distinctions here. But we can do pretty well for this. Especially if we don't overdo the size of the thing. So see, it doesn't work in all places, but it works in enough places that you can make it look pretty natural, even over here. You can do little things like this. And there we go. We have, it has whispered itself into existence, and now it exists. Now we want to make sure this connects, so I want a little bit of road, so we'd have a crossing. And once we get over here, we'll do that. See? A very easy and simple way into the park. So I say, let's go with where the whispers are telling us in this direction. Now, you see we have a rail that cuts across this park area at an awkward angle. What if we were to increase the slope in this area? And we can even have this slope increase going on out to the nearby area outside the park zone. That's fine. I don't mind that at all. In fact, this road could potentially benefit from that. See that? We'll have a little bit. And I think this will actually benefit the city in several ways. It'll be more than one way it'll hide certain things that we might not want to see, and it will also make a more scenic and dramatic way into our main station. So we're gonna just do that, and yeah, shuriken slope. That's fine. Oh, so we have a nice little street over here, and yeah, why not level this out a little bit on this side? In fact, I kind of want to, yeah. Oops. Yeah, when you see the brown, that means the slope is steep and we have cliffs. That's fine over here where the rail is, but on an area that's not facing the rail, I kind of just want it to be natural. Now, let's make sure that this itself is lowered. And the reason I want to do that is because... oh dear. Okay, I wanted to make... Anyway. Alright, lower still, please. We just might not be high up enough, which would be annoying, but no, we're fine. Look at that. Okay, these two are parallel with each other, I think, but this one is not, so I wonder if we can do better. There we go. This gives this area a little bit of a dramatic flair, and I appreciate that very much. So you're going to come over here, Swiffer and Differ up to this zone. You're going to do that. There we go. See? It's elegant. And now that we've done that, yeah, I am cool with that. So we're going to have this. This will go here. And once again, we will use this in order to cross. So that's kind of cool. And we can have a branching path. You see? You see what you can do with a little creativity. Now, let's do some work in this area. And that is how you bring beauty and excitement to an area. I'm very happy about how this turned out. And I do like how you can mix and match the park type. Because even though this is technically a city park, we do have amusement park type stuff here. And people are using it madly. In fact, there's a big stretch of road here where people are parking to use this. So, we're doing quite well. And also, you might have noticed, I did zone some high density residential over here. I didn't zone everything. I wanted to keep some areas open. But, I mean, this close to the central train station and to all this parks land, I'm pretty sure this area is very naturally high density. And I don't know why. I have a superstition about this little area here. Like, it might need to be reconfigured at some point in the future. So, for now, it's just going to be kept as it is. So, I do think we are reaching the end of this episode. However, I kind of feel like over here is a new area. Like everything, like I feel like this down here is not big enough to be an area, but when you include it with everything above it, then maybe yeah it is. So we'll include it out to here for now. And then maybe later on we will fix it. Now, remember, we said everything not including this university is part of this town, so make sure these are zoned within it. And yes, even over here. Now, as for its boundary with New Doylestown, I think that'll come right up to this road. Yeah, look at that. Oh, and of course, everything in the middle. So this is another area, very much like Holly over here, which is going to be defined by its connection to the park. Now, we do have a little thumb here. I am thinking that Holly gets to expand out to this road. But no further. There. Now we do have a Holly / what's this place called? Butler Square boundary. Yep. And something else will be over here, which we will see in the future. But look at all these places we have now. We don't have places for all of these yet, but we will soon. So anyway, we are going to end the episode there. We're going to be developing more, and very soon we shall be entering the next phase where we hit 15,000 and unlock our next thing. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.